AccuWeather forecast. I'm meteorologist Joe Lundberg.
From local sports to national newsmakers, this is the show everybody is talking about. Live from the Granite State, it's Mike and the Hoss on the Pulse of New Hampshire.
Good morning and welcome to the Mike and the Hoss Show, powered by the Yum Shop and the Pulse of New Hampshire. I'm Mike Denay, and alongside Charlie Hossack, we are Mike and the Hoss. Dogs back in studio. It's getting hot again. It's not raining today. It's Saturday.
Nope.
4th of July weekend.
Yeah. Oh, it's a great weekend.
America.
America, baby. Yesterday was awesome. What a beautiful day. Great day to celebrate America. We were just talking off air. It's 249th birthday of the United States was yesterday, and gearing up. Dogs got some maybe big plans for 250, so that's exciting. So here's the other thing. Dog, you had mentioned, not to burst your bubble, you said you might be going to Philadelphia, and I love Philadelphia. That'd be great. And we got a friend out there that you've met, so maybe guys could connect. The other thing is, I really want to go, and we're going to talk about this later, the Nathan's hot dog eating contest. And Mike, you made me feel bad prior to the show that when I said, why don't we go down, Mike and the Hoss, and bring Dog? And, Dog said, well, I'm going to Philly, but we could go down and really enjoy this in person. And you were like, nope. And you hurt my feelings.
I can't begin to tell you how many things I would rather do than go down to Coney Island and sit there watching somebody just stuff hot dogs down his face after he dips them in water. No, that's not on my bucket list. We'll talk about your weird fascination with Joey Chestnut, and he's going to be the topic of our poll question this week too.
He is. Dog,
hey,
Doug, you have any interest? I mean, is this something you want to put on is it on your bucket list?
Oh, it's not.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I mean, I have some weird things on my bucket list. Obviously, this is one of them. The other one is I want to go out and see Phil, the groundhog. I'd like to go out and see if Phil sees his shadow and maybe do that one day.
Punxsutawney, Pennsylvania.
Yeah, I would like to do that and maybe put on a top hat and participate, from as a fan. A fan of Punxsutawney Phil. But yeah, these are things, and we're going to get to it in a little bit, but these are things that are American traditions. This weekend is all about America. We're celebrating the red, white, and blue. And there's
why is stuffing your face to a point of people puking up on stage American? Where do you think that's American?
There's nothing more American than a hot dog. You think of a barbecue, you throw in a barbecue. Yeah. Maybe people are going to make steaks. Of course, you get hamburgers. You're going to get hot dogs. I mean, that is like true American. You get your potato salad, your macaroni salad, your corn on the cob, right? That is American. So then they just take it and they turn it into a competition with these seasoned athletes.
No. We're not going there. That's going to be the topic of our poll question. We are not going to go there. Not seasoned athletes, people that have their stomach stretched. Hey, before we get started, we are welcoming in a new sponsor this week. Is going to be with us for a little while. Kingswood Country Club in Wolfboro, New Hampshire is going to be joining the fray. And the ads, hopefully, we're going to start running next week. But today, trivia is going to be sponsored by them, and we are going to be giving away a round for two with a card, a midweek round for two for trivia, which is a $180 value to the Kingswood Country Club in Wolfboro, New Hampshire. So stay tuned at the bottom of the hour for that. All right. Mike and the Hoss is powered by the Yum Shop, located in the heart of downtown Wolfboro, and can be found on the Pulse of New Hampshire radio stations and all over the world on the Pulse of New Hampshire app. You can always catch up and listen to our previous shows on the Pulse Podcast Network, Spreaker, Audible, and Amazon Music. The Yum Shop has over 100 varieties of fresh baked goods, including 6 different types of bread and a full-service ice cream bar, and, of course, their most famous item, the gingerbread cookie. Make sure to visit the Yum Shop the next time you're in Wolfboro or online at yumshop.com. And while you're there, enter the discount code of Mike and the Hoss to receive 20% off a Gingy Box. You can join our conversation 603-228-2080. That is 603-228-2080. And if you're watching live on our Facebook stream or our YouTube live, that stream is brought to you by the Heinz Group of Philadelphia and London, and you can always catch us on TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook. All right, Charlie, I just wanted to get to it because I want to do opening takes and get your godforsaken thing over with. Once a year, we got to deal with Joey Chestnut and eating hot dogs. So
you didn't have to
let's get it over with.
You didn't have to. Your mic.
Opening takes are brought to you by the Back Bay Boathouse.
Where you can enjoy delicious food and drinks right next to the lake. Don't forget to order their $5 Mike in the Hoss penalty box during happy hour, Monday through Friday from 3 to 5 p.m. And you can actually get yourself a hot dog and sit out on their beautiful deck overlooking Back Bay of Lake Winnipesaukee. And if you're lucky, if you're really, really lucky, you could see Mike heading off into the big lake on his boat, which would be a real treat.
Let's before you start, let's establish something. There's nothing wrong with a hot dog.
Yeah, right.
I'm not putting down hot dogs. It's
dog's not a hot dog guy. Dog.
It's the 71 hot dogs dipping the bun in water and then slurping it down. That's the problem that I have. So it's not all of you hot dog people out there. I don't have a problem with a hot dog.
All right. And you like a Nathan's hot dog too. They're pretty good hot dogs. Especially
get it over with.
All right. Well, my opening take is celebrating an American tradition. Competitive eating legend Joey Chestnut was once again crowned champion of Nathan's hot dog eating contest in his triumphant return to the 4th of July competition after skipping last year due to a sponsorship dispute with a vegan wiener brand. Chestnut, he's only 41 years old. This guy's going to be around for a long time. He scarfed down.
No, he's not. No, he's not.
He scarfed down an incredulous 70 and a half, so 70.5 hot dogs in front. Check this. A raucous crowd, Mike, at Coney Island. We could be there. He reclaimed the mustard belt for a record 17th time, and he didn't beat his record. Back in 2021, he ate 76 francs. So he did 70.5. So this... excuse me, I'm just getting so excited. I'm coughing. This is an absolute feat. The fact that he was able to return this year and crush the rest of the competition, the amount of training, and we've talked about his training in past shows. We don't need to get into it. This guy is in the gym 7 days a week. He is taking care of his body. He treats his body like a temple.
You're making things up right now. You're making things up.
I am not. We have this. We talked about this on a show about his training regimen. He fasts before the competition. So, he's going 24 to 36 hours without putting anything in his body. And he just goes out there and absolutely dominates the competition. I mean, he could put 2 dogs in his mouth at once. And it's just amazing. The fans are going crazy. New York, Coney Island, I don't know if you guys have been. It's just an amazing place to be. You got the roller coasters, the Ferris wheels, of course, the ocean. And man, there's nothing better than the Nathan's hot dog eating contest. And I someday am going to make it down there, apparently without Dog and without Mike. But I'm gonna get down there and I'm gonna have a chance to give Joey Chestnut a fist bump. I can't wait.
Okay.
What
am I supposed to say to that? That is,
what I'm saying is, and you say this all the time, and you always say it isn't true. In order to be a competitive eater, to be able to do what he did, he is considered an athlete.
And that's where the bell rings.
Yes.
No.
Go ahead, Mike.
No, he's not. I had one hot dog yesterday. I had one hot dog yesterday. Does that mean that I was in training for the competitive eating contest?
No, that's one hot dog. You couldn't
I'm
do
going
it.
to tell you that my definition is the same definition that we had 7 years ago when we started this show. If it's something that you do in your daily life, then it's not a sport. It can be a competition. That's fine. It can be a competition. You're not an athlete. If it's something that you're doing in your daily life. If I am eating to stay alive.
So then so what you just did is walking is an Olympic sport, right? We walk every day. I just walked over to your classroom a minute ago. Am I in training for the Olympics because I'm walking? I do it every day.
Speed walking is, I guess that's a little bit different.
Whoa.
Walking. So, okay, let's put aside walking, do another one. it's not supporting my argument. Walking doesn't support my argument. Do another one.
Pick something else. No, what I'm saying is, Mike, I'm just saying, listen, obviously a lot of people find it disgusting. Okay. I'm not gonna argue with that. It is pretty gross. But that being said, I couldn't sit down in 10 minutes. That's the other thing. You got 10 minutes, guys. 10 minutes to do this. It's not like it's unlimited. It's not like you're at the buffet all day. You got 10 minutes to eat as many hot dogs with buns as you can. I couldn't do it. You couldn't do it, and Dog couldn't do it. So there has to be some training involved that is able to, so he is able to be able to accomplish this feat.
Okay, now my turn. Joey Chestnut is an icon. He set world records. The Guinness Book of World Records is loaded with people that are not necessarily athletes. I'm not saying that it's not an accomplishment. It's an accomplishment. I'm just drawing the line at athlete. I just don't think he's an athlete, and I'm not going to characterize him as an athlete. He can be iconic. He could be your hero. He could be all those kinds of things, but he's not an athlete. He's
okay,
not.
So I have some information right here and you have it too. I just want to read. This is great. This is one of our listeners, and thank you. A person, this is from the Merriam-Webster. This is the definition of an athlete. A person who is trained or skilled in exercises, sports, or games requiring physical strength, agility, or stamina. There you have it. Joey is an athlete, according to our listeners. So thank you. Clearly, based on that definition, Joey Chestnut, you said he's an icon. I agree. He's also an athlete.
No, I'm sorry. I appreciate. I thought he was on my side on this one too, if I remember right. I thought he was on my side. If we do the same
Apparently
thing,
I was able to persuade him to come to my side.
I don't think so. He's not an athlete.
Actually,
he's a competitor.
He's someone that would actually probably go to this competition with me. So
he might, it might be his thing, but no, he's not an athlete. Dog, do you want to? Is Joey Chestnut an athlete?
Oh, just because it's on ESPN doesn't mean it's a sport.
It's right.
I blame that four-letter network for putting him and giving him a platform all these years back in the early 2000s, making him something that he is not.
I'm with Dog on this. I'm totally with Dog. It's frustrating that we're celebrating this. You call it, celebrating America. This is not a good thing to be celebrating. Some wolfing down 71 hot dogs. I'm not putting my hand to my chest and saying the pledge based when I see this. This is not making me feel great about it.
Neither am I. But Mike, it's a tradition. It's like fireworks on the 4th of July. It's a tradition. It's like having a cookout on the 4th of July. It's a tradition. Knowing that you're going to get a chance to watch the Nathan's hot dog eating contest. It's a tradition. That's what I'm going at. I don't want to be saying the Pledge of Allegiance or singing the national anthem or any of that. I just want to say that it's just part of the festivities that make America great.
Well, let's bring
America.
Let's bring the public into this, because this is going to be, or our listeners anyway, this is going to be the topic of our poll question. And I can't think of a better time before we go to break for Dog to read the poll question. We can do last week's later, but what's this week's poll question, Dog?
We've talked about it before the show began. We're talking about it now. Is Joey Chestnut an athlete? Yes or no?
And where can they get that question?
They can get it on X at the Pulse of NH, and they can also get it at the Pulse of NH on Facebook. I want to hear what the boomers have to say on Facebook.
This is going to be interesting. I'm looking forward to the results of this poll. Yes. We'll have to bring that next week too. All right, let's go to break. When we come back, we'll talk about some New Hampshire sports.
And if you're having trouble hearing us, listen anytime, anywhere. Just ask your smart device to play the Pulse of NH.
Hi, this is Dr. Stephanie from Crossroads Chiropractic. Adjustments changed my life as a child suffering chronic ear infections and saved my parents from a lifetime of chronic neck and back pain. When I grew up, I became a chiropractor to help other families live healthier, happier lives with less pain and more vitality. We've been voted best chiropractor year after year and literally helped thousands. But one of my proudest accomplishments is creating a second generation of chiropractors.
Hi, this is Dr. Brooke. I'm the little girl from the Crossroads commercials in the 2000s, and now I'm a chiropractor too. I share my mom's passion for leaving the planet healthier than we found it. Together with my husband, we are carrying on the Crossroads legacy. Crossroads is different. We're not a quick fix place. We do a careful examination, get to know your health concerns, and we make a plan for correcting your unique spinal misalignments. Find out how good being well-adjusted can be. A complete exam with any necessary x-rays is just $59 at Crossroads Chiropractic in Bedford, Pembroke, Epping, and Meredith. Find out more at crossroadschiropractic.com.
If you are looking to elevate your home with timeless beauty and durability, check out ADF's selection of hardwood flooring, with brands like Hallmark and Mannington offering a variety of species and stunning looks, bringing you options for every taste or trend. Or how about Lausanne and Maine Traditions? Both options deliver quality and craftsmanship with natural elegance. Stop by for some samples of these brands and more. ADF Flooring's knowledgeable staff will help you get inspired and pick flooring that's the best fit for your home and lifestyle. ADF Flooring is a proud member of the Flooring Network. Visit ADF Flooring today at 248 Sheep Davis Road in Concord, or get inspiration for your new floor at adfflooring.com. ADF Flooring in Concord. They stand by their flooring while you stand on it.
Hi, I'm Colonel Mark Hall of the New Hampshire State Police. Tune in every Thursday morning at 9:20 for your New Hampshire State Police segment on Good Morning New Hampshire with Jack on the Pulse of New Hampshire to learn about what we do for public safety in New Hampshire.
Jason LaCroix here from AutoFair. Our team is proud to sponsor your New Hampshire State Police segment on Good Morning New Hampshire. We believe it is important for the community to know more about the men and women who work on the front lines of public safety. Tune in each Thursday morning at 9:20 for your New Hampshire State Police segment, brought to you by the team at AutoFair.
Are you having trouble hearing? Hearing loss can devastate the quality of your life. Now, there's an affordable fix for you or your loved one. Rated the best hearing aids of 2025 by Forbes Health, Audion Hearing has the highest quality hearing aids at the lowest prices, starting at just $98 a pair.
I actually like them better than my old $5,000 hearing aids.
I could not believe how my hearing and life changed.
Join over 1 million happy customers by going to audionhearing.com. That's AUDIEN hearing.com.
Coming up at noon, we talk tech with Kim Commando. In the meantime, we're back to Mike and the Hoss on the Pulse of New Hampshire.
To follow up on Charlie's thing, I don't think speed walking should be a sport either. All right. If I'm going to be consistent with my definition, I don't really think that should be a speed walk either. I find those speed walkers a little bit awkward anyway. They look like they're triple jointed in their hips, and
Get the hip swivel.
It doesn't look very natural. I'm going to continue. We're going to do opening takes. We're going to continue that, Charlie, before we get to New Hampshire sports, because I wanted to talk about something that we talked about in OT and overtime with Mike and the Hoss this week. We spent some time on the WNBA, and they just don't get it. And we referred to Caitlin Clark, and we've talked about Caitlin Clark quite a bit on this show, about the All-Star voting, that she was third with the number one with the fans, third with the media, and ninth with the players. I did dig in a little bit, and as far as how that could happen, how she could end up being ninth. Apparently, the players only get to vote for 4 people. They had a ballot. They only could put 4 names on there. Okay. So they weren't putting her in there as the 9th person necessarily. They weren't putting 8 people in front of her. Right. It's just that, she got
they added up the votes.
Enough people left her off the thing. So there's that. But, if you're watching our Facebook Live stream or YouTube Live, you have to suffer through the pictures of Sophie Cunningham. We have been praising Sophie Cunningham for the past, couple weeks about how she has, stood up for Caitlin Clark and just kind of gave a little bit more energy to the WNBA.
Yeah.
Even she can't get out of her own way. And I don't know if you heard these comments. The WNBA, I know Dog did because you commented a little bit. The WNBA is expanding. They want to expand it to 6 cities. And 2 of the cities are Cleveland and Detroit. And Sophie Cunningham, when this was initially announced, said nobody wants to go to Cleveland and Detroit. She was really putting down the whole thing. Oh, my God. Nobody in this league gets it. Nobody in this league gets it. They need a PR department that is not allowing the ladies right now to speak to the media without being coached, because that was now she walked the statements back. The next day she did walk the statements back because somebody finally got to her.
The harm was already done.
Yeah. There's such poor messaging that's happening. The poor messaging that's happening with Caitlin Clark, and now somebody who has elevated her status in the league tenfold over the past few weeks, who is probably one of the more popular ladies in the league, steps in it. She steps in it just as the league is saying, hey, we're going to expand. We're coming to a city near you. And I'm not going to Cleveland, or I'm not going to Detroit. Nobody wants to go there. It's just one thing after another. They can't get it. This league doesn't get it.
Right.
And I don't know what they're going to do it, because every time they have a little bit of growth, somebody does something stupid and that takes it out, whether it be, fouling Caitlin Clark so she misses 3 weeks, or saying something stupid, or saying you're not going to participate in the Olympics if she's there, or saying you're not going to go to a city that we expand to.
Right.
Come on.
Yeah. And we've talked before, Mike. We've talked about it from a professional athlete point of view in the NFL. We talked about, players. Do players want to come to New England, NFL players, versus other places, or do players want to come to Boston to play, basketball versus, your Miamis and your LAs? And I get it. So I suspect as humans, they have feelings that maybe they don't want to go to Cleveland, or they don't want to go to Detroit. But that being said, you're right. You got to keep your mouth shut. I don't care if they put a team up in North Dakota. If it's a professional team, you're going to go. You're getting paid. This is your livelihood. This is what you do. Who cares where it is? You're hopefully get some fans wherever you go in our country.
The league has been around for 30 years, right? Yeah, 96.
Yes. Yeah.
So about 30 years.
They started playing 97, but I get your point.
Yeah, so about 30 years. Over the last 2 or 3 years, they've had more uptake than at any point during those 27, 28 years.
Right.
And the attention's finally coming around to them, where their franchise are getting valued at decent amounts. We talked about the Liberty being valued at $450 million. They're talking expansion, and yet they still keep putting up their own self-inflicted wounds to slow the progress, or if not derail the progress that they're making. It's nuts. And they keep doing it. And I'm sure we're going to talk about it again in the next couple of weeks, because somebody's going to put their foot in their mouth or do something stupid.
Yeah.
What happened after today? Who knows?
Maybe it's crazy. All right, let's UNH made the news. So let's talk.
Yeah, before I jump to New Hampshire sports, I just wanted to take a moment to remember Chris Daly. Chris Daly was a promising hockey player who unfortunately passed away in a car accident this past week. He was the captain of the Gloucester High School boys hockey team. Gloucester's a town in Massachusetts. And he made a profound impact on and off the ice during his 4 years. He was known for being extremely hardworking, leadership-driven, and his friendliness, compassion, and commitment to the betterment of his team. He also played in a significant role for the Gloucester High School, the Fisherman boys lacrosse team. So his life tragically was cut short in an automobile accident in Massachusetts. A wrong-way driver hit him and a bunch of other people that were in his car, and sadly, he passed away. So we just wanted to take a moment as Mike and the Hoss, because sports hits everywhere, and this is a New England kid with some connections actually to some people at UNH. So remembering Chris Daly and his family. Rest in peace, Chris.
Well said, Charlie. All right, New Hampshire sports.
Yeah, New Hampshire sports is brought to you by Bailey's Bubble. Family-owned and operated Bailey's Bubble in downtown Wolfboro serves the finest ice cream in the state from May through October. If you can't make it to Wolfboro for ice cream, you can still order their hot fudge, panucci, and butterscotch sauces at baileysbubble.com. My favorite is their homemade hot fudge. When placing your order, don't forget to tell them that Mike and the Hoss sent you. And Mike, you said yes. UNH has made UNH Athletics has made some news this past week. They opted into the House versus the NCAA settlement, and this the House versus the NCAA settlement was approved in early June. And what it does, it allows Division I college athletes to receive direct payments from their schools, marking a significant shift from the NCAA's model, longstanding model of amateurism, right? So now technically D1 athletes aren't necessarily considered amateurs. This landmark decision was part of a $2.8 billion settlement, and it also provides, this is interesting, back pay to former athletes for past NIL, which is name, image, and likeness restrictions. It's going to go back 10 years. So UNH has bought into this. There's a lot to this, but the most significant thing, or most significant change that kind of people are getting at, is there's the roster limit changes for key sports. Meaning what it means now is prior to this settlement, if you had, like, say, a baseball team, you could only offer, say, 9 scholarships, even though you could have 25 players on the team. Now schools that buy into this, that have bought into this settlement, can scholarship every single athlete up to the roster limit. So some significant things. I'm not going to go over every single sport, but this does impact obviously UNH, and UNH is in the in football would be considered. They're in the FBS. They're a Division I team. Their roster limit can be 105 players, so they could scholarship 105 athletes. Mike, did you want to say something?
Yeah, I got a question. It's about the direct payments, and I'm just wondering, and maybe you read through this, Charlie, that we talked about there's basically a salary cap now for Division I schools,
Yes.
and that by UNH opting into that, they fall into this salary cap that they can offer $20 million for football teams. $20 million.
Yeah, that's their athletes.
That's all the athletes?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So does this, since there's a salary cap, is the talent pool going to be spread out more? Because teams aren't going to, like a Florida State's not going to be able to sign all the best football players because they're not going to fit them under the salary cap. So are some of those kids going to spread out to a place like UNH?
Yeah, I mean, I think you're right. I mean, I think you're going to see that. I think they're going to figure out, okay, that Florida State's going to be able to offer X amount of players, this amount of money, but wow, I can get the same amount of money if I go to this other school.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, I think that definitely could happen, and we're probably going to see that happen, especially as the years kind of roll out.
So theoretically, wouldn't this create a little bit more parity that, the SEC is not going to be commanding all of the top athletes because they're not going to be able to be paid from those, from Alabama, for instance, that has $20 million to work with, and that's going to have to get spread around the country.
It's going to have to, yeah, no, and no longer. It's not going to come down to, my school has a better boosters club than your school. My school has 15 neurosurgeons that donate $1 billion a year, and we can bring in anyone we want. Now it's like, hey, great, we still want your money, but we're going to cap it at this. You're right, Mike. It does level the playing field. The one issue that it does take away from, and I don't know how big an issue this is, but it's the walk-on. The kid that wants to walk on, and we've heard the great stories of walk-ons that then go on to have professional careers. This, you're not going to see the walk-ons because the scholarship's already going to be given for the athletes.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, but the roster limits are not scholarship limits. Those are just number of like for football, 105 players could be on the team. They're not giving 105 scholarships, are they?
They could. That's what I'm saying is you can now. You're allowed to, but you have to distribute your money. You have to be smart about it. So let's say a school like UNH is 105 football players. Their men's basketball, women's basketball team each have 15 players. Their baseball team, this is crazy. Baseball, I know UNH doesn't have a baseball team, but baseball can now offer up to 34 scholarships. And last year, Mike, it was 9. Division I schools offered 9 scholarships. Now they can offer up to 34. Soccer, you're going to see 28 for both men's and women's. Softball, you're going to see 25. And then cross country, which is a huge sport actually at UNH, can have 17 scholarship athletes. So
wow.
Yeah.
So I think it's going to be, I don't know what it's going to do. I don't know what it's going to do. I think it's going to be interesting to see how this changes the landscape. Dog?
Remember when college athletes had limited options? It's not like that anymore.
No. I think, just by looking at it on paper, I think they're going to get spread out a lot more because you're going to have the salaried money that they can get paid. It's almost like the scholarships are now secondary because everybody gets a scholarship.
Sure.
And so,
yeah.
It's probably going to affect? It's going to affect the non-scholarship students because their tuitions are probably going to go up a little bit to cover some of these things.
Yeah. And it's true because, just because you say you can spend 20 million, you need to have that money. That money needs to come from somewhere. And, and Mike, you kind of nailed it. Charlie Baker's quote, and Charlie's the president of the NCAA. He said that hopefully this settlement opens a pathway to begin stabilizing college sports. So kind of leveling the playing field.
Yeah. All right. When we come back, we're doing trivia for the Kingswood Golf Club.
News, information, and discussion.
This is 107.7 WTPL.
In the 1950s, it was all about going to the mini golf course with your friends. Nothing was cooler in the 80s than the latest video games. Today, it's all about picking the best character or team and becoming number one. No matter what generation you grew up in, being a kid was all about having fun. And since 1952, Fun Spot in Laconia has entertained kids of all ages and even grew to become the world's largest arcade. Fun Spot has been in business for over 70 years. They want to thank all of you who come year after year, those who came here when they were young and now bring their own kids. Without all of you, there would be no Fun Spot, a place to play both new and classic video games, to enjoy mini golf or try your hand at traditional or candlepin bowling. Fun Spot is open year-round, so come celebrate and have fun right on Route 3, Weirs Beach. Find out more at funspotnh.com. Fun Spot, the largest arcade in the world.
It was the 1904 World's Fair in St. Louis, and a man named Ernest Hamway was selling crisp waffle-like pastries called Valabia in a booth right next to an ice cream vendor. Because of ice cream's popularity, the vendor ran out of dishes. Hamway saw an easy solution and quickly rolled one of his waffles into the shape of a cornucopia and gave it to the ice cream vendor.
The vendor put a couple scoops of ice cream into it, and voila, the waffle cone was born. And American Fences was there.
Since 1892, American Fences has been owned and operated by the Mafera family. Come to American Fences and discover the highest quality fencing and the pride and workmanship of New Hampshire's most professional fence installers. At American Fences, our customers have always come first, as well as our quality products.
So lick that fencing job
with American Fences Incorporated.
Online at AmericanFences.net.
Find what you love, love what you find. The Total Wine and More. There's so much waiting for you. Spirits and beer, thousands of wine. Guides in the know, and prices so low, it just might blow your mind. You're gonna find what you love and love what you find.
With curbside pickup and delivery available, you'll always find what you love, only at Total Wine and More.
Drink responsibly, B21.
Hey, Green Gobbler here. So you've got a clogged drain in your bathroom. Water in the sink's overstaying its welcome. You're spitting today's toothpaste on top of yesterday's toothpaste. You hope that it go away. Yeah, clogs don't just go away. I make them go away. I'm Green Gobbler, the only clog dissolver you need. I'm bleach-free, safe for your pipes, and I work. Guaranteed or your money back. Because I never met a clog that was going to unclog itself. Green Gobbler. Let the gobbler get it.
Get in touch with the show anytime at thepulseofnh.com and on the free-to-download Pulse of NH app. Now, back to Mike and the Haas on the Pulse of New Hampshire.
Mike and the Haas, Sports Talk Classics in New England.
603-228-2080. You're going to need that number for trivia today, which a new sponsor for us, the Kingswood Golf Club. Kingswood Golf Club is a semi-private classic Donald Ross 18-hole par 72 championship golf course offering a range of challenges from 5 sets of tees, a driving range, practice area, 2 putting greens, a member-only practice hole, a member tournaments and league play, and a fully stocked pro shop, golf lessons, club rentals, and a full-service restaurant offering indoor and outdoor dining, affordable pricing, and plenty of parking. Since 1915, Kingswood Golf Club has maintained its first-class image by being friendly and hospitable. Our reputation for providing quality and matchless course conditions to our members and day play players include plush, well-maintained fairways, greens that roll fast and true, and an engaging course layout to rival some of the best courses in the USA. Join us today for private course conditions at public course prices. And we are giving away a round for 2 people with a cart, midweek round for 2 people with a cart, if you can answer the correct trivia question. All right, Charlie, you came up with the trivia. You give it the trivia.
All right, sounds good. The trivia is golf related, so this is for a midweek round of golf for 2 people and a cart at the Kingswood Golf Club. Can you name the prestigious international competition held every 2 years, pitting the best golfers from Europe against the best from the United States? Once again, can you name the prestigious international competition held every 2 years, pitting the best golfers from Europe against the best golfers from the United States. 603-228-2080. That's 603-228-2080 for a chance to win a midweek golf for two with a cart at the Kingswood Golf Club.
All right. We got to talk about some drama that happening in Major League Baseball.
Yes.
I know Luis Ortiz is being investigated for gambling, and it is can see Dog is on the phone already. Not surprising on this one. And this is this is a bad look for baseball, and it was just a matter of time with daily wagering happening, with DraftKings daily wagering happening.
Right.
It was a matter of time before this, or at least maybe this has been happening before, and somebody might be getting caught.
Right. Hey, before Mike, what do you think? Before we go into it, because we want Dog involved in this conversation,
right?
Maybe we take our caller.
Yeah, Nick. Hi, Nick from Bennington. You got an answer for the trivia?
Hey, how you doing today?
Great.
Thanks.
Good. Yeah, I was looking to answer the question as the Ryder Cup.
You got it. You just won yourself midweek golf for two with a cart at the Kingswood Golf Club, Nick. Congratulations.
Oh, thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Nice job, Nick.
Yeah, we appreciate you. Thanks for listening to the show. And don't forget to stay on the air with Dog. He'll get you information and enjoy that round of golf. And if you're up in Wolfboro, look out for Mike and the Hoss. You might see us on the course.
Awesome. Good. Hopefully see you guys soon. Thank you.
Right. Take care.
Thanks, Nick. Well, so I'll frame it. I'm sure Dog already knows about it, being a Guardians fan. So daily wagering happens with DraftKings. You can actually bet on what the next event's going to happen in the game, whether a guy's going to get a hit, whether you're going to home run, strikeout, whatever, and you get odds that way. You can also bet on by what pitch is going to be thrown. Is it going to be a ball or strike, and so on. And so a huge amount of money, like an abnormal amount of money, came into DraftKings for the first pitch, I believe it was of the third inning, by Luis Ortiz, was going to be a ball. And like a big, and so they're looking at it, and obviously AI is involved, and they're able to see trends and so on. And Luis Ortiz did not just throw a ball; he threw a ball basically into the dugout. He made sure that ball was not going to be anywhere near the strike zone, and the umpire wasn't going to make a bad call or anything like that. And so that got some people's attention. And then it happened again, Charlie.
It did. Yeah, it happened again. So it happened the first time. It happened on June 15th, and then it happened again on June 27th. Because of that, he's been placed on non-disciplinary paid leave, meaning that he's going to continue to get paid. The Guardians, Dog's favorite team, released a statement saying they have acknowledged the investigation, but stated they cannot comment further due to its confidential nature. And then Ortiz now is using kind of his translator as a scapegoat. Now saying potentially that his translator could have been the one placing bets, and this is turning into a Shohei Ohtani type thing. And it's crazy because the penalty, we know what the penalties are, guys. Like if he's actually betting on the game of baseball, and specifically betting on himself, he's going to be banned for life from Major League Baseball.
Yeah,
Dog,
and
I was wondering, Dog, this is your team. I mean, talk to us. I mean, how are you feeling about this? What are your thoughts? Is there truth to this? What do you think?
We're gonna find out what the truth is, and today's Shohei Ohtani's birthday, by the way.
All right.
With the whole, is this gonna be the whole thing now with foreign players? The translator did it. What are we doing? You're in Major League Baseball. You and your brethren, players, management, your agent, you're not allowed to bet on baseball.
Right. End
of sentence. That's it. It says it when you walk in the clubhouse. No gambling allowed. We have to go through this again. Well, we've got this thing with what? With NBA player. What's his face?
Oh, you're right. I forgot. Let's stick with Luis Ortiz for a second. What I found difference about this is that as you read commentary on it, it is solemn. It is like it's not people are really mad about it or anything like that. They're like almost in a defeated way, like, oh my God, I can't believe that this is actually happening. I'm surprised that it hasn't happened before. Daily wagering, And we've seen these sports leagues are being sponsored by DraftKings. I would love to get DraftKings to sponsor our show. There's DraftKings everywhere, and they have their hand in everything. I have the Jack Pocket app, the thing that does the lottery, you get, so you don't have to go to the store to get your lottery ticket. Guess who bought it? DraftKings. And so now my DraftKings wallet is the same as my Jack Pocket wallet, and worlds are colliding, and I can't separate the two things. And so basically what I'm doing when I'm buying my Powerball ticket, it's like I'm betting, betting on the Red Sox.
Right.
It's in the same pool. And so these worlds are colliding. I'm really surprised that Luis Ortiz that they didn't. It's early. I guess it is early, but it's obvious. The problem that I think was so obvious about it was that the pitch is not like he painted the black. You know what I mean? It's not like it was he threw the ball basically to the on deck circle.
Right.
And it made it so ridiculously obvious. Like, come on, you're a Major League Baseball player. A whole crap load of money came in that you were going to throw a ball at the beginning of the first pitch of the third inning. Abnormal amount of money came in, and you do that. You know what I mean? It's like too obvious to ignore. And I'm afraid I wonder if this has been happening more.
Yeah. I mean, I suspect it probably has, which is unfortunate, because you think the amount of money that these players make, and then going ahead and not only betting on the game, but essentially betting on yourself. I mean, that you're gonna throw a ball.
They're going to make an example of him, and it's not going to be Pete Rose 2.0. It is going to be an absolute hard. We are never going to allow you anywhere near to use Major League Baseball again. They're going to, and they have to. They're going to have to make an example of this. Daily betting is a problem, and there's way too much exposure, and the ability for these guys to make mistakes. They're going to make a bad example of him.
Yeah. Interesting thing. I looked into it, and I didn't know this. Maybe you guys knew it, but we obviously knew that baseball players can't bet on baseball, but they also can't bet on softball, but they're free to bet on other professional sports. They can bet anything that they want as long as it's not baseball or softball.
Right. So, right. I don't know. All right. When we come back, we're going to talk a little bit about Leah Thomas, and we're going to get to the Red Sox. Dog wants to say something first, though.
Malik Beasley is who we're talking about for basketball, by the way.
Okay.
Yeah, and those are pretty obvious too. The spreads, 8 points. There's no time left. There's like 4 seconds left in the game. He goes end to end to get the basket to make it a 7-point thing. It's really fishy, some of the stuff that they were showing with him too. It's bad. It is bad. All right, we'll be right back.
107.7 WTPL. Pulse of New Hampshire.
When I go places and do things, I can't help look at stuff that I think is unsafe.
Scott Lawson of the Lawson Group on serious injuries that can happen in the workplace.
Most companies, when there is an injury like that, they do go overboard, and they spend way too much time and effort and energy and money on the wrong things, because typically it is people's behavior, lack of training, education, equipment, whatever, that allowed them to get hurt. And that's really where they should be focusing their emphasis.
In your expertise, what is the generalized root cause for most accidents in the workplace?
So the last thing in the world you want to do is have a brand new employee that's never seen this machinery or equipment before be trained by somebody that knows how to break all the rules without getting hurt. Although Joe may be there for 20 years and he's a good employee and produces a lot of widgets and very high quality widgets, he may be cutting every corner in the books because he's been doing it for 25 years.
For workplace safety information on everything from indoor air quality and hazardous materials management to noise exposure, wellness consulting, and workman's comp, it's the Lawson Group. Go to thelawsongroup.com.
In home design, in furnishings design, it's about a wow factor.
Jody Sleeper from American Cottage in Guilford, which specializes in U.S.-made furniture, custom and design services, handmade rugs, and gorgeous lighting.
Rugs are recognizable. I have people still come in my store today, and I started in this industry 31 years ago. They come in and say, oh, wait a minute. I think I bought one of your rugs back in 1992 or something like that. And I'm thinking, That's when I was employed as somebody's art director and chief designer. And but those are all my designs. Yes, they've always been my designs. And hopefully, I've created enough design over 30 some odd years that it covers everybody's taste. Because I do have some beautiful hand knotted contemporary and silk rug, wool and silk rugs in the store that are just beautiful.
For handmade rugs and custom home furnishings and gifts, visit American Cottage, open Monday through Friday from 10 to 5, Saturday 10 to 3. In-house consulting is always available, so visit American Cottage at 9 Guilford East Drive or call for an appointment 877-263-7268.
Home improvement season is here. Warmer weather is the perfect time to tackle home improvement projects. Whether you're building a new deck, repairing an old one, or installing a new roof, these upgrades can impact your homeowner's insurance. Before you start, reach Allied Insurance Agency to make sure your policy reflects the true value of your home. Allied provides accurate quotes that considers everything, so you're properly protected. At Allied Insurance Agency, they understand how important your home is to you. Reach out to Allied Insurance Agency online at alliedia.com.
You'll get more than you expect with McValue at McDonald's. So when you've spent too much on a night out, get deals on the after party. When you've got date night, get deals on favorites that'll make you their favorite. And when you've got family for the weekend, we've got breakfast.
Having options tastes better. Enjoy a refreshing Coke Zero included in either the $5 hot and spicy McChicken meal deal or the $6 McDouble meal deal. Price and participation may vary. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
You're listening to the Granite State's own Mike and the Hoss on the Pulse of New Hampshire.
Mike and the Hoss on the radio waves. Teachers by day, coaches making plays.
Boston Red Sox playing game 2 of the series with the Washington Nationals.
Yeah.
The Nationals, right? They're at the Nationals.
Yeah.
Big win yesterday. The roller coaster of the Red Sox continues, but you can catch the game 2 today, 3:05 pregame, 4:05 first pitch on the Pulse of New Hampshire. And we also, the poll question last week, we never talked about that. We had to talk about the poll question, Dog.
Yeah.
Okay, last week we asked, should Major League Baseball have a hard salary cap? 100% yes on X at the Pulse of NH. About 95% yes, 5% no on Facebook at the Pulse of NH.
Wow, overwhelming. Yeah.
Overwhelming. Watching what's happening in the NBA, the teams dumping, and seeing that they have these 2 and 3 year windows now that are not based on the age of your players. They're not based upon the contracts. It's just based on your financial apron, on what part of the apron that you're in is what determines your championship window in the NBA right now. And that's not the way that it's supposed to work. No. It's not about having a good GM. It's not about having good coaches. It's about having financial, throwing money at the problem for 2 or 3 years, paying into these taxes, paying into the aprons, and then pulling out and then disappointing all your fans because you can't. And we talked about this before, Charlie. You can't get attached to these players.
Right.
That's true. They're gonna be gone. Leah Thomas, you put this in our notes. Do you want to talk about Leah Thomas for a second?
Sure. The federal investigation into the University of Pennsylvania surrounding transgender athletes reached a resolution. The U.S. Department of Education announced the resolution on July 1st, stating that the university will comply with Title IX after it allowed Thomas, who was a transgender athlete, to be part of the women's swimming program. The university must not allow transgender athletes to compete in female athletic programs, in addition to erasing all of Leah Thomas's achievements and records at the University of Pennsylvania.
So, I mean, obviously, this is where we're going, and not to get into too far into the weeds here, Charlie and to bang heads. You and I are not necessarily on the same page with this. I'm really not on the same page as far as erasing her records. That's the part that I don't get. She wasn't playing against the rules when they allowed her to swim, and just like Barry Bonds is the home run champion. And steroids were allowed then. They were frowned upon, but they were allowed when he was playing. Yep. And we didn't erase it. Even though we don't necessarily acknowledge it, we didn't erase the record from the record book. Steroids are not allowed now, but they were then. And so I have a problem with them erasing her records from the record book when she wasn't doing anything wrong at the time based on the rules that were in front of her.
So maybe this is a good opportunity to put your asterisk. You love your asterisk. So when we talk about Baseball Hall of Fame, you can have an asterisk there, and so,
yeah, I mean, I just
so be it. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't like it with the NCAA strips teams of titles. You know,
Yeah,
and
right.
those
Yeah.
kinds of things.
Yeah,
It's-
they
it's
forfeit those
kinda-
games. Yeah,
yeah,
right.
it's kind of weird.
It never happened, even though we saw it actually happen. It's like some sort of simulation. No, it actually happened.
Right.
Right.
You know, that stuff is kind of weird. And you know, Reggie Bush lost his Heisman's. You know, and it's like, so who won the Heisman that year?
Right.
Yeah, you know what I mean? It's just that part doesn't make any sense. We got a few minutes left. Let's talk about the Red Sox. At the beginning of the year, we talked about the roller coaster that was going to be the Red Sox this year, and they haven't disappointed. Win 4, lose 4, and right now they're on a little bit of an uptake. They won big yesterday in Washington. Giolito looks like he's pitching very, very well. Less than 2 earned runs, you know, over his last 5 starts. It's real good. They have a lot of pluses there. We're seeing the young kids contribute. We're seeing Marcelo Meyer contribute, Roman Anthony, Ceddanne Rafaela. Jaron Durant's still struggling a little bit, but what do they do? We're coming up on the trade deadline.
Yeah.
What are the Red Sox going to do? Are they going to? They're 6 games out, I believe.
Yeah. So there's six games. Let me give a little
Yeah.
preview. Or 6 games back in the East, and they're 2 games back in the wild card. As you said, Mike, we're coming up on the trade deadline. They have some decisions to make. You know that Christian Campbell has been sent back down to AAA. Interesting. He's playing first base. They're working him. They're trying to get him to probably move back to the Red Sox as the first baseman, which I find interesting. So we have questions. Let me throw some questions out, and I'd love to hear from you guys. Do they extend Alex Bregman, or do they trade Alex Bregman? What happens when Bregman actually returns from injury? Where does Marcelo play? And then, of course, we have the Christian Campbell we already talked about, the potential of him coming back to playing first base. What are your thoughts? Are the Sox going to sell, or are they going to extend Bregman?
Well, I'm going to do what they should do and what they probably will do. What they should do is extend Bregman, trade Story. Trevor Story's hitting very well right now. You've got to sell high on Trevor Story, and move Marcelo Meyer to shortstop, which is his natural position, which is probably the position he's going to be playing for the next 8 or 9 years with the Red Sox.
Yeah.
If you don't trade Story, then you move Story to second base, or you could do the Hamilton thing, or whatever at second base. I'm not a big fan of Christian Campbell coming up to play first base. He doesn't look like he's a natural. I don't know what they do with Christian Campbell. I don't know. And then Roman Anthony and Willie Abreu and Rafaela and Duran right now need to be in the lineup every day. I think Duran's another one that you probably are going to try to trade, because you don't really have a good spot for him at this point. You have enough outfielders that are there. They're not selling high, though. I think there's some apprehension, though. I think that he would have been gone already, but his mental health issues, I think, has scared teams from giving up too much for him.
Right.
And, that the way that he has kind of responded to the press and responded to fans has given him a little bit cold feet as far as making a big move for what he's worth. So they would probably have to sell low. That's where what they're going to do. They're going to bring Bregman back. They're going to put Meyer at second base. He's going to platoon with Hamilton and Navarro and anybody else that they want to.
Yeah.
And it's going to be frustrating. They're not going to put a winning lineup, and they're going to trade Chapman at the deadline, even though he's probably one of their best players so far this year.
Yeah. No, I agree. And I think you're going to see the infield's going to be Bregman at third, Story at short, Marcelo at second. And then I think they're going to get Christian Campbell up and to play first base.
It's not going to be just Marcelo at second. It's going to be Marcelo and Hamilton and Eaton and all these other guys that they have, because they feel the need to play these dumpster pile guys, for lack of a better word, guys that they pick up the scrap heap. They feel the need to play for them, and that's just driving me crazy. You're halfway through the year. It's time to play the guys that you're going to try to get to, and see if you have enough to win with this group.
Right. Right.
Nate Eaton is not going to get you to a title. Nate Eaton is not going to get you to the playoffs. Why do you They don't. The 22-year-old does not need a day off. Stop giving him a day off.
It's true.
I'm sorry. It is true, and it's getting frustrating. And you can catch them today, 4:05 first pitch against the Washington Nationals. I have them winning today. I do have them winning today, and I think it's going to be fun. Hey, congratulations to Nick from Bennington for winning the Kingswood Golf Club gift card. Kingswood Golf Club is going to be joining us with ads next week, starting next week, hopefully. That's going to do it for us. Catch Overtime with Mike and the Hoss. Have a great week, everybody.
Go Red Sox.